47 days after Kim Tae died protecting his sister, the last Federation stronghold fell to human forces. The fortress moon of Terminus had been the final refuge for alien commanders, who refused to surrender, but even their most secure position could not withstand the coordinated assault of the Liberation Fleet. Captain Lim Hae stood on the bridge of her flagship watching as the last Federation battle station exploded in a brilliant flash of light. The war that had consumed the galaxy for more than a month was finally over. Not a single world remained under alien control, and the empire that had ruled for over 1,000 years was nothing more than scattered refugees fleeing human justice. The cost had been terrible, with millions of lives lost on both sides, but humanity had proven that even the mightiest empire could fall when pushed too far. The species that had been dismissed as weak and primitive had destroyed their oppressors through a combination of careful planning, brilliant tactics, and sheer determination. Hae opened a communication channel that reached every human settlement in the galaxy, as well as the alien species that had joined their cause. Today we celebrate not just military victory, but the birth of a new age of freedom, she announced. The tyranny that enslaved our people for generations is ended forever. On New Sol Colony, where the rebellion had begun, Kim Min stood before a massive crowd gathered in the same square where her brother had been executed. She was no longer the frightened child who had watched aliens take Tae away, but a young leader who had helped coordinate resistance operations across multiple worlds. In her hands she held the energy rifle that had killed her brother, now transformed into a symbol of the freedom his sacrifice had purchased. The weapon had been recovered from Commander Vex after his capture and would be displayed in the Memorial Museum, being built to honor all those who had died for liberation. My brother believed that humans protect each other, that we take care of our families, and that we never give up, Min said to the crowd that had gathered to hear her speak. His death reminded the entire galaxy of who we really are and what we are capable of when we stand together. The memorial behind her was still under construction, but already showed the scope of human loss during the Federation years. Millions of names were being carved into black stone walls, each representing someone who had died in alien experiments, been killed for resisting oppression, or simply worked themselves to death in Federation labor camps. But the memorial also celebrated the courage of those who had fought back. Every resistance fighter who had risked their lives, every sleeper agent who had spent years in deep cover, every scientist who had turned Federation weapons against their creators would be remembered for their sacrifice. Dr. Choi Min had been appointed as the head of the new Galactic Medical Council, tasked with healing the damage done by decades of biological warfare and medical experimentation. The aliens had used human bodies as test subjects for horrific procedures, but now human medicine would lead the galaxy in treating the survivors. Her first priority was helping the children who had been taken for experiments. Many had been returned to their families, but bore psychological and physical scars that would take years to heal. Others had been so damaged by alien procedures that they required constant medical care. The research facilities where these crimes had been committed were being converted into hospitals and treatment centers. The same laboratories where humans had suffered would now be used to develop cures for the diseases. The Federation had created Park Han had become the galaxy's most celebrated computer specialist, but he used his skills to build communication networks that connected liberated worlds and helped coordinate relief efforts. His hacking abilities that had once made him a wanted criminal were now essential for establishing the new government. The intelligence he had stolen from Federation databases was being used to locate hidden prison camps and secret research facilities where human captives might still be held. Every day brought new discoveries of Federation crimes, but also new opportunities to rescue survivors and bring them home. Lee Seung was leading efforts to establish security forces on the former mining worlds. His experience fighting in the asteroid fields had taught him how to organize civilian populations into effective defense units. The galaxy was still dangerous, with Federation remnants and criminal organizations trying to take advantage of the chaos, but Seung was not just building military forces, he was also helping former slaves and prisoners adjust to freedom. Many humans had spent their entire lives under Federation control and needed support learning how to live as free people. The transition was difficult but essential for building a stable new society. Rin had been elected as the first president of the Outer Rim Coalition, an alliance of mining worlds that had played a crucial role in the rebellion. Her experience managing complex industrial operations made her ideal for coordinating economic reconstruction across dozens of star systems. The former Federation infrastructure was being rebuilt under human leadership with representatives from allied alien species who had supported the rebellion. The brutal forced labor systems were replaced with fair employment practices, while the resources that had been stolen to feed the Federation war machine were now used to improve life for everyone. New constitutional conventions were being held on every liberated world as humans and their allies worked to establish governments based on freedom and equality. The process. Captain Kim Tae-ho walked slowly across the bridge of his ship. Unity's voice. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor as he moved toward the big window that showed space outside. The stars looked peaceful today, but Kim Tae-ho knew that peace could change very quickly in this part of the galaxy. The ship was not built for fighting. It was made for talking and making deals with other people from different planets. Kim Tae-ho had asked for this kind of ship because he believed talking was better than fighting. He had seen too much war in his life, and he was tired of seeing people die. Officer Park Min-jun turned around from his computer screen. Captain, the Empire ships are getting closer. They will be here in 10 minutes. Kim Tae-ho nodded and looked at the young officer. Park Min-jun was new to space travel, but he was smart and worked hard. Tell the crew to get ready for our guests. Kim Tae-ho said, make sure everyone knows we are here to make friends, not enemies. He walked over to a mirror on the wall and checked his uniform. It was clean and neat with medals from 3 different wars on his chest. Each medal told a story of battles he had fought and lives he had saved. Kim Tae-ho remembered his first war when he was just 20 years old. He fought against robots that wanted to destroy human colonies. He saved thousands of people that day, but he also watched many friends die. The second war was against space pirates who attacked trade ships. Kim Tae-ho led a group of ships that stopped the pirates and made space travel safe. Again, the third war was the hardest one. It was against the Kree people who thought humans were dangerous. Kim Tae-ho spent 2 years fighting them before he realized the war was wrong. Both sides were killing each other for no good reason, so he did something crazy. He went to the Kree leader alone without weapons and asked to talk. The Kree leader wanted to kill him at first, but Kim Tae-ho kept talking. He told stories about human families and children. He showed pictures of Earth and human cities. He explained that humans just wanted to live in peace and explore the stars. The Kree leader listened, and after 3 days of talking, they made peace. That was 5 years ago now. Kim Tae-ho was famous across the galaxy as the man who ended the Kree War without more fighting. Many people called him a hero, but he did not like that word. Heroes were people who died in battles. Kim Tae-ho preferred to be called a peacemaker. Captain, the Empire ships are here, Officer Park Min-jun said with worry in his voice. Kim Tae-ho looked out the window and saw them coming. 12 huge ships that looked like metal monsters with guns sticking out everywhere. The biggest ship was as long as a city and painted in dark red colors that reminded Kim Tae-ho of blood. The Empire was old, very old. They had ruled most of the galaxy for over 1,000 years. They had powerful weapons and millions of soldiers on hundreds of planets. Most other people were afraid of them, but Kim Tae-ho was not afraid. He believed that even the Empire could learn to be better. A voice came through the speakers on the bridge. This is Admiral Vexstar of the Galactic Empire. You will prepare to be boarded. Kim Tae-ho walked to his captain's chair and pressed a button to answer. This is Captain Kim Tae-ho of the human ship Unity's voice. We come in peace, Admiral. We have a proposal that will help both our people. Kim Tae-ho tried to sound friendly and calm. The big screen on the bridge turned on and showed Admiral Vexstar. Kim Tae-ho had seen pictures of Empire people before, but seeing one in person was different. Vexstar looked like a huge lizard that walked on 2 legs. His skin was green and covered in scales. His eyes were yellow like a snake, and his mouth was full of sharp teeth. Humans, Vexstar said, and his voice sounded like rocks grinding together. You are young and stupid. You think you can make deals with the Empire like you are? Equals. Kim Tae-ho felt his crew getting nervous, but he stayed calm. Admiral, we may be young, but we are not stupid. Kim Tae-ho said, we have something the Empire needs. Our terraforming technology can turn dead planets into living worlds. We can make Gardens in space where nothing grew before all we ask for in return is the right to mine resources in 3 empty star systems. Vexstar laughed, and the sound was not nice, it was cold and mean. Your technology is nothing compared to Empire science. He said, we have ruled the galaxy since before your species learned to make fire. What makes you think you have anything we want? Kim Tae-ho stood up from his chair and walked closer to the screen. Admiral, I know the Empire is powerful and old, but sometimes young eyes can see things that old eyes miss. We do not want to take anything from you. We want to share and trade. Our people can work together. The other ships around Unity's voice moved closer. Kim Tae-ho could see their weapons turning toward his ship, but he did not show fear. You think because you won a few small wars that you are warriors, Vexstar said, with anger growing in his voice. You think because you made peace with the Kree that you are diplomats, but you are nothing. You are insects. Kim Tae-ho felt sad when he heard these words. He had hoped the Empire would be different from what other people said about them. But Vexstar was proving that sometimes old stories were true. Admiral Kim Tae-ho said softly, I have fought in 3 wars. I have seen cities burn and watched friends die. I know what war costs. That is why I choose peace. I came here today hoping we could find a better way forward for both our peoples. Vexstar leaned forward on the screen, his yellow eyes getting brighter. There is no better way forward for your people, human. Your place is to serve or to die. The Empire does not make deals with insects. Kim Tae-ho felt something cold in his stomach. He recognized this feeling from his war days. It was the feeling he got right before a battle started, when he knew that talking was over and fighting was about to begin. Then Admiral Vexstar said the words that changed everything. Prepare to die, human. Let this be a lesson to your species about respect. The screen went black and Kim Tae-ho heard the sound of weapons charging on the Empire ships. Captain, what do we do? Officer Park Min-jin asked with fear in his young voice. Kim Tae-ho looked around at his crew. These were good people who believed in peace just like him. They did not deserve to die because one alien was too proud to listen. Kim Tae-ho ran to the communication panel and started recording an emergency message. This is Captain Kim Tae-ho of Unity's voice to Earth Command. Admiral, Vexstar of the Empire has rejected our peace offer and is preparing to attack. We came here in good faith, but they have chosen war. Tell my family I love them. Tell humanity that we tried. The first laser beams hit the ship and everything shook. Kim Tae-ho was thrown against the wall, but he kept talking into the recorder. Tell them we came in peace, he said, and then the ship exploded in bright fire. Admiral Vexstar watched the human ship break apart and smiled. He had sent his message. The Empire was still the master of the galaxy, and these young humans had learned their place. But Vexstar did not know that Kim Tae-ho's last message was already traveling through space toward Earth. He did not know that Kim Tae-ho was not just any human, but a war hero loved by billions of people. He did not know that humanity had been preparing for this day for 50 years. And he did not know that in exactly 15 minutes he would learn why humans were the most dangerous species in the galaxy when they stopped pretending to be peaceful. Deep under the city of Seoul on Earth, Admiral Park Ji-woo was drinking coffee in her command center when the emergency alarm started screaming. The sound was so loud that it hurt her ears and made her spill hot coffee on her uniform. She had not heard this alarm in 20 years because it only played when humanity was under attack. Red lights flashed everywhere in the underground base as Admiral Park Ji-woo ran to the main communication center. Officer Lee Dong-min was already there pressing buttons and looking scared. His face was pale and his hands shook as he worked on the computers. Admiral, we have an emergency message from Captain Kim Tae-ho, Lee Dong-min said with worry in his voice. It came through the emergency channel, the one we only use when someone is about to die. Play it now. Admiral Park Ji-woo ordered and sat down in her chair. She knew Kim Tae-ho very well. They had been friends for 20 years, ever since they met during the Titan Rebellion when space pirates tried to take over the mining colonies. Kim Tae-ho had saved her life that day when a bomb exploded near her ship. He carried her to safety even though he was bleeding from his own wounds. The big screen turned on and showed Kim Tae-ho's face. He looked calm, but Admiral Park Ji-woo could see fear in his eyes behind his brave smile. This is Captain Kim Tae-ho of Unity's voice to Earth Command, he said. Admiral, Vexstar of the Empire has rejected our peace offer and is preparing to attack. We came here in good faith, but they have chosen war. Admiral Park Ji-woo felt her heart stop beating for a moment. She watched her old friend's face on the screen, knowing these might be his last words. "Tell my family I love them. Tell humanity that we tried." He said the ship shook around him and sparks flew from broken computers. "Tell them we came in peace then." The screen went white with a bright explosion and everything was quiet. Admiral Park Ji-woo stared at the empty screen, feeling like someone had hit her in the stomach with a hammer. Kim Tae-ho was dead. The Empire had killed him while he was trying to make peace. Commander Yoon Sora ran into the room breathing hard. "Admiral, what are your orders?" she asked. Commander Yoon Sora was young, but she was one of the best military officers on Earth. She had trained under Kim Tae-ho and loved him like a father. Admiral Park Ji-woo stood up slowly and walked to a red button on the wall that she had hoped she would never have to push. The button was covered by a clear box with the words "Break Only in War" written on it. She smashed the box with her fist and pressed the button. All over the command center, more alarms started ringing and computer screens lit up with military codes that had been sleeping for decades. Hidden bases all across the solar system came alive as the secret message went out. The Empire had made the biggest mistake in galactic history. They had killed Kim Tae-hoon. The big screen faces started appearing. General Choi Min-ho from Mars Base looked angry when he heard the news. His red uniform matched his red face as he listened to Kim Tae-ho's last message. Admiral Song Hae-jin from the Outer System Fleet had tears in her eyes, but her voice was steady when she spoke. Colonel Kong Woo-bin from the asteroid belt showed no emotion, but his hands were making fists. Each commander had served with Kim Tae-ho during the wars. Each one owed their life to him in some way. He had been more than a war hero to them. He had been their teacher, their friend, and their hope for a peaceful future. Now he was dead because he tried to talk instead of fight. Admiral Park Ji-woo looked at all the faces on the screen and felt something cold and hard growing in her chest. It was not sadness anymore. It was something much more dangerous. It was the fury of humanity when someone hurt their family. "Listen carefully," she said to all the commanders. "Kim Tae-ho went to the Empire asking for peace. They killed him for it. The Galaxy thinks we are weak traitors and diplomats who cannot fight. They think we forgot how to be warriors. They are about to learn how wrong they are." She walked to another computer and started typing codes that would wake up weapons systems hidden throughout the solar system. For 50 years, humanity had been preparing for this day while pretending to be peaceful. Every trade mission had been gathering information. Every diplomatic meeting had been studying enemy weaknesses. Every colony ship had been carrying hidden military supplies. The screen showed a map of the galaxy with thousands of red dots lighting up. Each dot was a human military unit that the Empire did not know existed. Ships disguised as cargo haulers revealed their true nature as destroyers. Mining stations opened up to show missile launchers. Peaceful research bases activated shields and weapons that could crack planets. General Choi Min-ho smiled for the first time since hearing about Kim Tae-ho. "Admiral, the Red Fleet is ready. All ships are armed and waiting for orders. We have been practicing this day in secret for 20 years. Admiral Song Hae-jin nodded. "The Ghost Squadron reports ready. Admiral, our ships have been hiding in the asteroid fields and dead space for decades. The Empire will never see us coming until it is too late." Colonel Kong Woo-bin's voice was quiet but deadly. "The Stealth Division is prepared, Admiral. We have ships positioned near every major Empire world. They think we are just cargo haulers and research vessels. They have no idea what weapons we carry." Admiral Park Ji-woo felt proud of her people and sad for Kim Tae-ho. At the same time, he had always believed that peace was possible even with the Empire, but sometimes peace was only possible after you showed your enemies that war would cost them everything. She opened a channel to every human military unit in the galaxy. "This is Admiral Park Ji-woo with Operation Thunder. Begin." Kim Tae-ho died trying to give the Empire a chance for peace. They chose war. Instead, now they will learn what humans do when someone kills our heroes. Prepare to jump to Empire space in 10 minutes. All across the solar system, thousands of ships that had been pretending to be harmless traders and explorers suddenly revealed their true nature. The largest fleet in galactic history was about to move, and the Empire had no idea what was coming. Admiral Park Ji-woo looked at Kim Tae-ho's picture on her desk and whispered, "I am sorry, old friend. We tried to do it your way. Now we have to do it the human way." She pressed the final button that would send 15,000 warships to Empire space, and 15 minutes after Kim Tae-ho died, the galaxy was about to change forever. On Mars, in the red desert that stretched beyond the horizon, massive doors built into the side of Olympus. Monks began to open. The doors were so big that they looked like mountains moving, and they had been disguised as natural rock formations for 30 years. No alien visitor to Mars had ever suspected what was hidden inside. General Choi Min-ho stood in the command center, carved deep inside the mountain, watching as his Red Fleet prepared to launch 3,000 warships painted in deep red, like the planet itself, moved out of their hiding places. Each ship was twice the size of anything the Empire had seen from humanity and carried enough weapons to destroy cities. The ships had been built in secret using resources mined from asteroids and technology stolen from a dozen different alien races during trade missions. Human engineers had studied every type of weapon and shield system they could find. Then they made better versions and hid them where no one would look. Captain Nam Hae-jin piloted the lead destroyer out of the mountain hangar. Her ship, Bloody Vengeance, had been disguised as a mining transport for 5 years. She had even carried real mining equipment and delivered ore to Empire worlds while hiding missile launchers behind fake cargo containers. General, this is Red Squadron reporting ready. Captain Nam Hae-jin said over the radio. All ships are armed and engines are hot. We are ready to jump to Empire space on your command, General. Choi Min-ho looked at the tactical display showing Empire territory. The aliens had no idea that human ships were already positioned near every major world, hiding in asteroid fields and pretending to be cargo haulers. In 15 minutes, those hidden ships would reveal themselves, and the Empire would learn what a real space battle looked like. Red Fleet, this is General Choi Min-ho, he said into his microphone. Kim Tae-ho was our friend and teacher. He believed in peace, but the Empire chose war instead. They will get war like they have never seen. Jump to target coordinates in 5 minutes. Show them what the Red Fleet can do on the other side of the solar system, beyond Pluto, where space was cold and dark. Admiral Song Hae-jin commanded a different kind of fleet. Her ships did not look like warships at all. They looked like asteroids and space junk floating in the emptiness. But looks could be very dangerous things in space. The Ghost Squadron had spent decades disguising their ships to look like natural objects. Fake rock-covered advanced armor systems, pretend ice hid powerful engines. What looked like dead satellites were actually stealth fighters loaded with enough explosives to destroy space stations. Admiral Song Hae-jin had been working on this deception for 20 years. Ever since Kim Tae-ho suggested that the best way to hide a military fleet was to make it invisible. Her ships drifted through space using minimal power and cold engines that did not show up on most sensors. Lieutenant Park Seo-jun was the pilot of Hidden Strike, a destroyer that looked exactly like a broken asteroid. He had been floating near Empire trade routes for 3 years, pretending to be space debris. Empire ships had flown right past him hundreds of times, never knowing that death was watching them. Admiral, we are ready to move. Lieutenant Park Seo-jun reported. All Ghost Squadron ships are in position near Empire worlds. Our stealth systems are working perfectly. They still think we are just space rocks. Admiral Song Hae-jin smiled as she looked at her fleet of invisible ships scattered across the galaxy. Each one was positioned exactly where it needed to be to cause maximum damage. When the time came, the Empire thought they were safe in their home systems, but humanity had been watching them for decades. Ghost Squadron, this is Admiral Song Hae-jin, she said. Kim Tae-ho taught us that sometimes the best weapon is the one your enemy never sees coming. The Empire killed him while he was asking for peace. Now they will learn why humans are the most dangerous hunters in the galaxy. Activate all systems and prepare for war. But the biggest surprise was hidden on Earth's moon, in the Sea of Tranquility, where human astronauts had first landed centuries ago. Something incredible had been built in secret. The moon's surface split open like a flower, revealing the largest warship ever constructed by any species in the galaxy. The ship was 5 kilometers long and bristled with weapons that could crack planets in half. It had been built inside the moon using materials from the asteroid belt and powered by fusion reactors that burned like small stars. The Empire had been looking at it for decades without knowing it was there. Admiral Park Ji-woo stood on the bridge of this massive ship, which had been renamed Kim Tae-ho's Vengeance in honor of their fallen hero. Through the huge windows she could see Earth hanging in space like a blue jewel. She thought about all the people down there who We're counting on her to protect them. Commander Yun So-ra ran systems checks on weapons that had never been fired in anger before. Admiral, all systems are ready, she reported. The main guns are charged and our armor is deployed. We are ready to jump. To Empire space all around the solar system, similar scenes were playing out. Hidden bases disguised as research stations opened up to reveal fighter squadrons. Cargo ships threw off their fake hulls to show missile launchers underneath mining platforms. Activated defense systems that could stop entire fleets, asteroid colonies that the Empire thought were just rock quarries suddenly came alive with military activity. What looked like industrial equipment was actually weapon factories that had been producing ammunition for decades. Every human settlement in space had been secretly preparing for this day. Colonel Kong Wu Bin commanded the stealth division from his base built inside a large asteroid. His ships were the smallest, but possibly the most dangerous because they could go anywhere without being seen. For years his pilots had been flying through Empire space, mapping their defenses and learning their weaknesses. The Empire thinks they know everything about human military capability. Colonel Kong Wu Bin said to his pilots, they have seen our exploration ships and diplomatic vessels. They think that is all we have. They have no idea that we have been preparing for war while talking about peace. Ships were already in Empire space, hiding among the normal space traffic. Some were disguised as garbage haulers, others looked like medical transports. But each one carried enough firepower to destroy an Empire battle station, and crews trained to use it. Admiral Park Ji-woo opened a communication channel to every human military unit in the galaxy. The time for hiding is over, she said. Kim Tae-ho believed that peace was possible with the Empire. He died trying to make that peace happen. Now we will show the Empire what happens when they choose war over peace. She looked at the countdown timer on her screen, showing 2 minutes until the attack began. 15,000 human warships prepared to jump to Empire space at the same time. It would be the largest military operation in galactic history, and the Empire had no idea it was coming. All units, this is Admiral Park Ji-woo. Operation Thunder begins in 60 seconds. Jump to your target coordinates and show the Empire what humanity can do when they stop pretending to be peaceful. For Kim Tae-ho, across the solar system, engines that had been hidden for decades roared to life. Weapon systems that existed only in secret military files came online. Jump drives that used technology the Empire thought was impossible began charging for the trip to enemy space. The countdown reached 0 and 15,000 human warships disappeared from the solar system in flashes of light. They would arrive at Empire worlds in exactly 15 minutes, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Admiral Vexstar was drinking victory wine in his command room aboard the Empire flagship Eternal Domination. He was telling his officers the story of how he destroyed the human ship for the 3rd time, making himself sound braver each time. He told it the wine was sweet and made him feel powerful as he remembered the fear in the human captain's eyes. The humans thought they could bargain with the Empire like equals, he said to Commander Zultak, his second in command. I showed them their true place in the galaxy. Now word will spread that the Empire does not negotiate with inferior species. Commander Zultak nodded and smiled, showing his sharp teeth. But inside he was worried. Zultak had studied human military history and knew they were not as weak as most people believe. They had won wars against species much stronger than them, but he did not want to argue with Admiral Vexstar. When he was drinking and feeling proud, suddenly the bridge alarm started screaming and red lights flashed everywhere. Officer Temrer ran to Admiral Vexstar with panic in his 4 eyes. Admiral, we have multiple contacts appearing on sensors. Hundreds of ships just appeared at the edge of our system. Admiral Vexstar laughed and took another drink of wine. Impossible, he said. Our sensors must be broken. No species has that many ships, and no one can jump that many vessels at the same time. Check the equipment, Temrer. But Officer Temrer was shaking his head frantically. Sir, the sensors are working fine. The computer says there are over 500 unknown ships in attack formation. They are moving toward our position. Admiral Vexstar stopped laughing and walked to the main tactical display. What he saw there made his wine glass fall from his hand and break on the floor. The screen showed more ships than he had ever seen in one place, ships that were bigger than Empire vessels and arranged in perfect military formations. How is this possible? He whispered. All our intelligence reports said humans have maybe 50 small ships for exploration. Where did these come from? On his homeworld, Emperor Malx was having dinner with his council when General Tolmer burst into the room without asking permission. "Your Majesty, we have an emergency," he said. Breathing hard, multiple human fleets have appeared in 17 different star systems. They have surrounded our major worlds, Emperor. Malx stood up so fast that his chair fell over. "What are you talking about?" he demanded. "Humans do not have fleets. They have cargo ships and research vessels." General Tolmer activated a holographic display that showed the Empire territory with red dots marking human ships. "Your Majesty, there are thousands of them. They appeared simultaneously across our entire domain. This should be impossible with any known technology." The Emperor stared at the display with growing horror. Each red dot represented ships that intelligence reports said did not exist. Humans were supposed to be traders and diplomats, not warriors, with massive fleets, but the evidence was right there on the screen. Defense Minister Culver was studying reports coming in from across the Empire. "Your Majesty, our observers report that many of these ships were already in our space disguised as civilian vessels. Cargo haulers have revealed weapon systems. Research ships have activated military shields. How long have they been watching us?" Emperor Malx asked with fear creeping into his voice. "How long have they been preparing for this? While we thought they were harmless." No one had an answer to that question. The Empire had ruled the galaxy for over 1,000 years and had never seen anything like this. Their enemies usually took months to move fleets into position, but humans had somehow surrounded their entire civilization in minutes. Back on his flagship, Admiral Vextar was receiving reports from across the fleet that made no sense at all. "Sir, our scanners show human ships using some kind of instantaneous jump technology, Commander." Zultak reported. "The physics should be impossible, but they are doing it anyway, Officer." Temrar was monitoring communications channels. "Admiral, the humans are broadcasting on all frequencies. They want to talk to you." Admiral Vextar felt something cold in his stomach. He had been so proud of destroying one small human ship. Now he was facing more firepower than the Empire had seen in centuries. "Put them on screen," he ordered, trying to sound brave. The main display showed a human woman in a military uniform. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with controlled anger. "I am Fleet Admiral Park Wu of the Human Defense Force," she said. "Your Admiral Vextar murdered Captain Kim Tae-ho, a diplomatic envoy who came to you in peace. This was an act of war against humanity." Admiral Vextar tried to speak, but no words came out. He was staring at weapons displays that showed human ships carrying enough firepower to destroy planets. Behind Admiral Park Ji-woo, he could see other humans working at control stations with the efficiency of people who had been preparing for war for a very long time. The human admiral continued speaking. "This man spent his life protecting others, including your people. He died asking for nothing but fair treatment. For humanity, you have 1 hour to surrender. Admiral Vextar for trial and pay reparations to Kim Tae-ho's family." The transmission showed the bridge of a massive human warship with weapons that Admiral Vextar did not recognize through the windows. He could see hundreds of other ships in perfect formation. "We surrounded your entire civilization in 15 minutes. Admiral Park Ji-woo said, "We did this not to conquer, but to prevent more senseless death." Admiral Vextar looked around his bridge and saw fear in the eyes of his crew. These were veterans of a dozen wars, but they had never seen anything like this. The humans had accomplished something that should have taken months of preparation, and they had done it in minutes. "Choose quickly," the human admiral said, "because humanity's patience died with Captain Kim Tae-ho." Then the transmission ended, leaving Admiral Vextar staring at a screen that showed human ships surrounding his fleet. Commander Zultak was reading tactical reports with growing amazement. "Sir, their ship formations are perfect. Each vessel is positioned for maximum tactical advantage. This is not luck or desperation. This is the work of military minds that have been studying our defenses for years." Officer Temrer was monitoring Empire communications channels across the galaxy. "Admiral, every major world is reporting the same thing. Human fleets have appeared everywhere at the same time. Our military commanders are asking for orders, but no one knows what to do." Admiral Vextar realized the terrible truth. Humans had been pretending to be peaceful while preparing for war. Every trade mission had been gathering intelligence. Every diplomatic meeting had been studying Empire weaknesses. They had spent decades Learning how to defeat the Empire while appearing harmless on the Imperial homeworld, Emperor Malx was receiving similar reports from across his domain. General Tolmer was coordinating with fleet commanders who all told the same impossible story. Human ships had appeared everywhere using technology that should not exist, Your Majesty. General Tolmer said quietly, I think we have made a terrible mistake. We assumed humans were weak because they chose peace. We never considered that they might be choosing peace from a position of strength. Emperor Malx looked at the tactical displays showing human ships positioned around every important Empire world. The formations were so precise and the coordination so perfect that it could only mean one thing: the humans had been planning this operation for decades while pretending to be harmless. Trader's Defense Minister Culver was reading intelligence reports that painted a frightening picture. Your Majesty, our agents report that human ships are demonstrating their weapons on uninhabited moons. They are vaporizing mountains with single shots to show us what they can do. The Emperor felt something he had never experienced before in his long life. He felt fear. The Empire had always been the strongest force in the galaxy, but now they were surrounded by an enemy they had completely underestimated. Across the Empire, similar scenes were playing out. Military commanders who had been celebrating the destruction of one small human ship were now staring at fleets that dwarfed anything they had ever seen. Worlds that had felt safe under Empire protection were watching human weapons demonstrations that could crack planets. The humans had given them 1 hour to decide Admiral Vextar's fate, but Emperor Malx was beginning to understand that this was not really about one admiral. This was about the Empire learning that they were no longer the masters of the galaxy. The age of Empire dominance was ending and the age of human power was beginning. Emperor Malx sat in his throne room surrounded by his most trusted advisors, but for the first time in his long reign he felt completely alone. The weight of deciding the fate of his entire civilization pressed down on him like a mountain, and every choice seemed to lead to disaster. The holographic display in the center of the room showed human ships positioned around every major Empire world. Their formations were perfect and their weapons were charged, waiting for his decision. In 30 minutes, those weapons could begin the destruction of everything his ancestors had built over 1,000 years. General Tolmer was studying tactical reports from across the Empire. Your Majesty, our military commanders report the same thing from every system. The humans have positioned their fleets for maximum strategic advantage. This is not the work of lucky amateurs. This is professional military planning. Defense Minister Culver was reading intelligence reports that made the situation even more frightening. Your Majesty, our analysts believe these human ships represent only a portion of their true military strength. They may have kept their largest forces hidden in their home territory. Emperor Malx looked around the room at advisors who had always told him the Empire was invincible. Now, those same advisors were telling him that a species they had dismissed as harmless traitors had somehow become the most dangerous force in the galaxy. Admiral Vextar appeared on the communication screen from his flagship, still trying to sound brave. Your Majesty, we should not negotiate with these humans. They are bluffing. No species could have built such a fleet in secret. We should call their bluff and fight. But General Tolmer shook his head as he studied the tactical displays. Admiral, with respect, this is not a bluff. Look at their ship positions. Every vessel is exactly where it needs to be for a coordinated attack. This requires the kind of planning that takes decades. Emperor Malx activated a secure channel to speak with his field commanders across the Empire. What he heard from them confirmed his worst fears. Every military leader reported the same thing. They were surrounded, outgunned, and facing technology they did not understand. Commander Kelther from the vegan system reported that human ships had appeared among his fleet without warning. They were disguised as cargo vessels. Your Majesty, they have been watching us for years while we thought they were harmless traitors. Admiral Nexula from the Outer Rim described human weapons demonstrations that vaporized entire mountains on uninhabited worlds. Your Majesty, their firepower exceeds anything in our arsenal. They could destroy our worlds and we could not stop them. General Polmar from the core worlds had the most disturbing report of all. Your Majesty, our intelligence suggests that humans have been infiltrating our territory for decades. Every trade mission, every diplomatic contact may have been gathering information for This operation Emperor Malx realized the terrible truth: the Empire had been completely deceived. Humans had appeared weak because they chose to appear weak while building the most powerful military force in galactic history. They had been preparing for war while talking about peace. The countdown timer showed 20 minutes remaining until the human deadline. Emperor Malx looked at Admiral Vexstar on the screen, the alien who had started this crisis by killing one human diplomat. Your Majesty, we cannot surrender to these inferior creatures, he said. We are the Empire. We have ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years, but General Tolmer stepped forward. Your Majesty, with permission, I disagree. The humans have demonstrated that they are not inferior. They have shown military capabilities that exceed our own. They have offered us terms when they could have simply attacked defense. Minister Culver was reading the latest reports from human fleet positions. Your Majesty, they are not behaving like conquerors. They could have destroyed our worlds without warning, but instead they gave us time to surrender. This suggests they truly want to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. Emperor Malx thought about the human Admiral's message and the images she had shown of Captain Kim Tae-ho. The human had indeed spent his life helping others, including Empire citizens. He had come in peace and died asking for fair treatment, not conquest. The Emperor activated a private channel to speak with his oldest advisor, former General Wexter, who had served 3 emperors and seen the rise and fall of many species. Old friend, what do you counsel in this darkest hour? Former General Wexter appeared on screen, his ancient face lined with wisdom from centuries of experience. Your Majesty, I have seen many wars and many enemies. The humans are different from any we have faced before. They have the power to destroy us, but they offer mercy instead. He continued, Your Majesty, a truly inferior species could never have accomplished what we have witnessed today. The humans have built a military force that rivals our own while maintaining the appearance of peaceful traders. This requires intelligence, planning, and patience that few species possess. The countdown showed 15 minutes remaining. Emperor Malx looked around his throne room at the symbols of Empire power that had seemed eternal just hours ago. Now all of that power meant nothing against an enemy that could surround his entire civilization. In minutes, Admiral Vexstar was still arguing for resistance on the communication screen. Your Majesty, if we surrender to humans, every species in the galaxy will see us as weak. Our 1,000-year reign will end in humiliation. But General Talmer had a different perspective. Your Majesty, our reign will end regardless. If we choose war, the humans can destroy our civilization in hours. If we surrender, we survive with honor. If we fight, we die with pride, but our people die with us. Emperor Malx made his decision. He opened a direct communication channel to Admiral Park Ji-woo on the human flagship. The screen showed the human admiral standing calmly on her bridge, surrounded by officers who looked professional and disciplined. Admiral Park Ji-woo, this is Emperor Malx of the Galactic Empire, he said, trying to keep his voice steady. I have reviewed your terms and I accept them. Admiral Vexstar will be surrendered for trial and reparations will be paid to Captain Kim Tae-ho's family. The human Admiral nodded, but her expression remained serious. Your Majesty, you have made a wise choice. We take no pleasure in this victory. We wanted only peace and fair treatment. Captain Kim Tae-ho died believing that peace was possible between our peoples. Emperor Malx felt something he had never experienced before. He felt respect for an enemy. The humans had demonstrated overwhelming power, but they were not using it to destroy or conquer. They wanted justice for their fallen hero and assurance that such things would not happen again. Admiral Vexstar's voice came over the communication system. Your Majesty, you cannot do this. The Empire does not surrender to inferior species. We are the masters of the galaxy. But Emperor Malx looked directly at Admiral Vexstar through the screen and spoke with the authority of 1,000 years of imperial rule. Admiral Vexstar, you are relieved of command and will surrender yourself to human justice immediately. The Empire chooses survival over pride. General Talmer activated the fleet-wide communication system. All Empire forces, this is General Talmer. By order of Emperor Malx, all military units will stand down and allow human forces to take Admiral Vexstar.